Uh, Morning, everyone. We'll wait for 4 to 2 minutes, okay? So till then, we'll see how many members will join and we'll start the class. And I think from tomorrow, like what is day? Wednesday, right? So Wednesday and Thursday is a holidays. So inform to your friends, and we will also remind you in the chat box in the WhatsApp also. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow is a holidays, okay? Wednesday and the Thursday. So make sure to friends to let them know. They will not join, but just tell them, okay? So if you have any doubts regarding anything before starting the class, you can unmute yourself and you can let me know, or you can let the message in the chat box, okay? So make sure to utilize your holidays at least 1 hour in a day. So just practice on what we discussed on the core Java and the JSP and create small projects and do. And if you face any issues, let me know through the chat box now or in the holidays also. Okay, I'm available. But there are holidays, so Friday we will come back again. Okay, so okay, we'll wait 2 minutes more and we'll start the class. Okay, then guys, let's start the class. Okay. Till now, yesterday we let me share my screen once. Entire screen. Share it. Okay. So we'll go to where we are. So yesterday we discussed about the terminations and okay, we discussed about all the string methods. Okay, so what is a string, and we have a different types of methods in the strings, and we discuss everything, okay, with the terminations also, and we saw small examples on the strings and the terminations also. Now today we will discuss about the functions in the Java. Okay, we have a topic called functions. Okay, we can call it as a method also. We call them as a method and we call as a functions. Okay, so what is a functions or a method in the Java, and what is the syntax? Okay, what is the syntax for that function? How to write how to initialize a function in a class, and why we use the functions? Okay, there are different types of methods, so which are predefined also. As I said, in yesterday we discussed about the methods in the strings like length method, character rate, index. Okay, so those are all called the methods. but that is a string topic. I just explained to you before the explanation of the functions, but today we'll go through the each one of it. Okay, functions and methods are both are same. Okay, functions and methods are both are same. So once I call function and another time I call the method, so don't get confused. Both are same. We have a different types of methods and different types of functions. Okay, so we'll discuss everything, and we'll go to the JSP about the database connections. Yesterday we discussed about the JDBC. So why we use the JDBC? Okay, what is the JDBC? Okay, database connectivity. So which allows the Java program to connect with the database. Okay, so this is what we discussed about yesterday. So we have a different types of JDBC drivers. Okay, and we will connect with the database, and we will see how the connection is establishing and how to close the connections, and we'll do some small example connection is successful or not. Okay, we'll do everything. Now we'll go with the functions. Okay, what is function and why we use the functions? So functions are, we can call it as a methods also. Okay, so we can call it as methods also. It's so when I have one code, okay, I have a one code and it performs a specific task. Okay, it performs a specific task. Let me do one thing. Let me open my Eclipse first. So here, what is a function is, I have one code. Okay, I have a block of code. I have a block of code and I want that code to print something. It will execute some block. Okay, it will execute, or it will execute. One second, let me open. It executes some task. Okay, at one time. At one time. And again, I want the task to execute in another function. Okay, in another line. Imagine like another line. So now see, let me do one thing. Here we are in the Java perspective itself. Now let me do one thing here. Okay, let me do one thing here. Uh, just imagine like the system dot out dot println. Okay, println of, or imagine I have integer a equals to 10, integer a equals to 10, integer b equals to some 20 something else, and I want the addition of these two numbers. Okay, addition of these two numbers. Okay, now what it will give, my output was lie in the C variable. Okay, and in the next part I have b equals to some z equals to 10, z equals to 10, and integer y equals to some 20, and integer x equals to, again I need to perform the same addition which was doing in the previous line. Okay, so that is, you understand, right? When I want to do the same task, okay, when I want to perform a perform a specific task, okay, so that whatever the function you want to perform, okay, whatever the task you want to perform, you can write it in the function, which means a function is a block of a code that performs a specific task. It only runs when you call. Okay, when you call, which means when you call by defining the function, and when you call that function, okay, when you call that function, it will, when you call that function, it will perform that particular task, and it will, there will be, one second guys. So now when you want to perform a specific task by calling itself, okay, by calling the function, we use the methods. So method is basically is a group of statements that perform a task. Okay, so in the Java, it allows Java follows the object oriented concepts. Okay, oops, which is nothing but oops. So everything is inside the class and methods. Basically the Java is a object oriented programming language. So in the object oriented programming languages, Everything in the programs are reside inside the classes and the methods. Okay, classes and the methods. This is one type of a class, and this is a method. Okay, so in the Java, wherever you go, the class, the every program resides inside the classes and the methods. And this method allow us to use the reuse the logic instead of writing the same code again and again. Which means, let me give the syntax here first. So before going to the syntax, let me give function. We can call it as also the method. Okay, we can call it as a method. So a function is a block of a code. A function is a block of a code that performs specific tasks, that performs a specific task when you call that function. Okay, specific task, we can call it as it runs only when it is called. So to use that function, we need to call that function. So that is what at the last line is. It runs only when it is called. Okay, it runs only when it is called. So method, what is a usage actually? So I can call it a method. Okay, so I will call it as a method itself. Okay, so method allow us to reuse reuse the logic or reuse the code. Okay, instead of writing the same code again and again. Okay, instead of writing the same code again and again, we can write that block of statements in that method. We can call it whenever you want to perform that same task again and again. Okay, so think like a methods. Okay, you have a number of methods. Imagine like in your toolbox. Okay, in your toolbox, methods are the tools. I'm just giving a random example. Okay, you have one toolbox. Okay, in the toolbox you have a tools. In that toolbox you have a tools. Okay, so which means the methods are the tools in that class toolbox. Okay, imagine like that you have a class called toolbox. Inside that you have a tools which are nothing but the methods. Okay, same when you want to calculate. So this is a main method. Now let me give the syntax. Okay, syntax here is syntax here is you have to declare to which the method is returning any type or nothing. Okay, whether you are using the method, right? So that method is returning anything or not. So if it is returning, what is the data type which it returning? Okay, this is the return type, and you have to give the method name. Okay, you have to give the method name. And before calling, okay, you want to call the method, right? We used to call by using the method name. Okay, by method name we will call that particular method. Okay, when you call that method, if you want to send the parameters, okay, parameters, okay, you can send any parameters like parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 2. Okay, so n number of parameters you can send it to the method. So inside the flower brackets, okay, inside the flower brackets you can write the method body. So whatever the logic or whatever the code you want to write, you can write it inside this method body. Okay, method body. Here one thing is important. If you use a return, okay, and the value, if you use a return and the value, so return will return the value from this method when you call this method. Okay, when you call this method by using the method name, if it has a return value, basically it is an optional, you don't need to write. It is an optional. But if the program requires a return, okay, returning something from this method, you can use the return keyword with the value whatever you're sending. So based on this value, if it is integer, you need to give the integer data type. If it is a string data type, you need to give the string data type here. So that is a meaning of the return type. So this is a basic syntax. Okay, return type should be type of a value returned from this method. Okay, and it might be, you can give here the return type can be return type. Okay, so basically it is a type of the value return. Okay, value return, which might be string, or integer, and we can give the void. So void is nothing but when you are not returning anything, which means if you are not returning, you are not using return keyword in your function, you need to give the return type as void. Here you need to give the return type as void. So this is also one of the important question. So don't forget, if the function is not returning anything in the return type, you need to use the void return type. Okay, so and an important thing, one more thing, and the method name what you are giving, it has to be meaningful. Okay, it has to be meaningful name. It should be meaningful name or meaningful names, which means if you are using that method to calculate something like calculate sum or calculate average, okay, you need to give it like a calculate average. So it should be meaningful. It should not it is not compulsory. Whatever the name you are giving, it will take. But for programming parameters, okay, you need to give it meaningful name. And the parameters are nothing but the inputs you are giving to this function. Okay, these are the inputs. Whatever the parameters you are giving, you need to give it. Okay, and the return will give you the output, which is nothing but whenever you call this method, it will give you the output with the value. Okay, that is a value. So why we use this method? Basically, we are using certain block of code, okay, to perform the same task whenever it calls. Okay, whenever we call that method, we need to perform that task whichever lies in that method, and it has to return some value. Why we are giving? So what we are doing exactly here, see, method allows us to reuse the logic, which means we are using the same logic again and again. Okay, which tell us the methods are reusability. So one method can be called many times. We are using the same code again and again. Okay, we are using the same code again and again, which implies the code is reusability. So this is a one benefit. Okay, reusability. Okay, so one method can be called many times. And we have, okay, for debugging also, it is like when you want to find the errors in which method it has error was occurred, we can find it easily. So we can find error easily in the debugging. And the readability, so while using the methods and the classes, the code is structured. Okay, we can call it as readability. Okay, readability, which means the code is structured and easier to understand, which means we can take easier to understand. So okay, and the project, so you have a big project, imagine like you have a real-time project, and for each function, okay, like for each requirement you are dividing that requirements. For your project, you are dividing each requirement into the functions. So then what it happens, the project will be divided into smaller units. So we'll acquire the modularity. Okay, so the project will divide into small units. Why? We are performing small functions and we are dividing all the requirements into small functions. So there we can get the modularity of the project, which means project divided into small pieces. The small pieces are nothing but the functions. Okay, so without the methods, we cannot create in a project like step by step. Okay, so with the methods we can write down what are the steps and what are the functionalities requirements, and we can divide the project into small units, so which will make us our code structured way and easier way without any confusions. Okay, without any confusion. So this is what the functions are, and this is what the syntax is. So now we discuss about the addition, right? Okay, we did the addition here. So how actually we can create the method inside the class. Okay, inside the class we have to create the function. So how can we create the function? How can we create the function? By return type. Okay, so now let me imagine the return type. I don't know. Okay, first let me give the method name. Okay, I am giving the method name and I want to perform addition. Here I want to pass, I will pass these two parameters. Okay, I will pass these two parameters and I want the sum of these two numbers. Okay, so let me give the method name as a addition. Okay, I have given the method name as a addition, and here I will send the parameters, right? Okay, to send the parameters. So what type of the parameters you are sending? Integer A, one integer B. Okay, I am sending the integer data type. So what might be the return, what might be the output of this data type? Obviously, it will be the integer data type. So the return type will be integer. Okay, the return type, method name, and the parameters. And the parameters. So now, when I call this addition, I need to return the whatever the values you are taking, like A and A plus B, which means A plus B. Okay, so this is a basic method. Okay, this is a basic method we use. Okay, this is how we have to use the code reusability. So now what I will do here is, when I call that function, when I call that function, I need to, so, and one more thing here, these are user defined basically. So there are different types of methods we have a predefined methods and the user defined methods. Okay, we have a predefined and a user defined methods, which means predefines are nothing but the methods which are given by the Java. Okay, the predefines are nothing but already available in the Java. So here let me give it as types of methods. So types of methods, we have predefined, okay, predefined methods and user defined methods and user defined methods. Okay, now whatever I have did here, this is a user defined, which means I have created my own method to use that logic again and again. But what about the predefined? So predefined methods are available in the Java libraries. So Java itself, it has given some methods. It has given some methods. So let me tell, I already available in the Java. Okay, already available in the Java. For example, we have math. Okay, math dot square root. Okay, when you want to find it out the square root of any number, we have a math dot square root method. So these are, so I want the square root of the 12. So it will return the square root. Okay, it will return the square root of that 12 number. Okay, and when you want the maximum of a two numbers, so here we need to use a math dot max of, you have to give the two numbers and it will return you the maximum of the two numbers, maximum of the two numbers. Okay, two numbers. So we have a different types, and in the strings we discuss in the strings, like I have taken one string and I want to find it out the string length. So that is also a predefined methods. Okay, imagine like I hello, okay, string, and I want to find it out the length of this string. So this is also the predefined, okay, predefined methods. So which is available already in the Java. So it will give the length of the string. So these are all the predefined strings. Okay, predefined strings. And in the user defined also we have different types. We have different types, which means without return and without parameters. Okay, so based on the parameters we have a different types of user defined methods. Based on the parameters we have different types of methods. Okay, now here what is a return type? Here we have a return type and we are using the parameters also, which means with the return and with the parameters. So this is a method type of return, okay, return and the with the parameters, okay, return with the parameters. We can do without return and without parameters also. Okay, without return, let me give no return and no parameters. So how can you do that? Okay, how can you create that? Which means no return means what return type had I need to use void. Okay, and I just create the method name like say hello. Okay, say hello, and I am not taking any parameters. Okay, I'm not taking any parameters. Still it is in a method. Still it is in a method. But why we use a no return no parameters? Like I just want to grade the students. Okay, so I will use a system.println here, and I will what I will say here hello students. I will say hello students. So wherever I need to greet, I will call this method. Okay, wherever I have to greet, I will call this method again and again, then it will greet. Okay, then it will greet. So this is the type of no return and no parameters. Here I am not returning anything, I am just printing. Okay, I am printing wherever the function is calling, and it's not returning, right? So that is why we are using the void return type and no parameters. I'm not sending any parameters also. So this is one type, no return, no parameters. And we can, this is with return and with parameters, means I'm returning something and I'm also passing the parameters, and I'm also passing the parameters. So now how can we use these methods? Okay, now we created successfully, we created the methods in our class. How can we access that methods in our class? So to access the method of a particular class, we need to create an object. Okay, we need to create the object of the class, which means when we want to take the input from the user, we created the scanner class object. Imagine. Okay, so remember, right? So here I imported java.util.scanner class, right? I imported scanner class, which means I am saying repeatedly scanner class. Okay, to use the scanner class methods, inside the scanner class methods, we have, see, inside this is a class. See what it's saying, public final class scanner implements iterate. So inside this we have a different types of a methods. Inside this we have a different types of a method. This is a one type of a method. Okay, to use all the methods which are present in the scanner class, we are creating the object. So just like that, to use the methods which are present in this string class, we need to create the object of the class. How? You need to use the string class. So this is the class, right? Okay, this is a class name, right? So now let's take the object variable. Like, let me give the, what is the object I can give? stc. Okay, and with a new keyword again give the class name cals. Okay, cals. So this is a stc. Now by using this object, when you put the dot, see here it's giving the addition, and it also giving me the say hello. where it is. See here it has. Okay, say hello and the addition. These are the two methods which are present in the string class. You're getting right? So 1 second. If you have any doubts, Nana, regarding anything, you can just unmute yourself and you can talk. Okay, or else you can put the message in the chat box. So now this is a methods I have. These are the methods I have. This is one type of method which is with return and with the parameters, and this is no return type, nothing. We are not returning anything and we are not using any parameters. So just like that, we have a different types also. So before that, I want to show you how to call the method of that particular class. To call the method, to access the method of a particular class, we have to create the object of that class. How we can create the object of a particular class? By using the new keyword. Okay, class name and object name and new keyword and class. Okay, so here the stc, now the object of that particular class. So now here I can access the object of this class. See, it asking the two parameters. Why it asking me the two parameters? Because it requesting the two parameters. When you are calling that, when you are calling that addition, you need to send the two parameters, then only it will result you the output. Okay, then only it will result you the output. So before that, let me create the scanner object. Okay, and we will take the input from the user to sum the two addition. Okay, so what I will do, I will create the object of this class scanner, and I have to take the scanner object in the system.in, which means, so I am taking the standard input system.in's new scanner. Now let me tell the user as system.out.println. Okay, so before that I will say hello to him, right? So let me do one thing here. Let me create this at the top. Okay, now what I will do, stc dot say hello. Okay, I will use the say hello, which means, see, this is the object of my string class, which is my presented class. Now I am calling this say hello. So when I call this say hello, it will print the say hello students. It will print the say hello students. Here itself, what I will do, system.out.println, enter two numbers for addition. Okay, I'm just giving enter two numbers to the addition. Okay, enter two numbers to the addition. Now what it will do here, it will enter that, right? So I need to take the input whatever the user is giving, right? So by using the next int, I will take the input from the user and I will store it in the integer a. I will store it in the integer a, and again you will enter the second number, right? So let me take the b as a sc dot next int, sc dot next int. See here, you can take any value, not only a and b, you can take the x and y, and here you need to give the x and y. Okay, so here I am taking a and b, so there also I need to take a and b. Okay, there is no confusion here. You can take any parameters there in the method. Now these are the two numbers. Okay, these are the two numbers the user is entering. So I need to pass the two variables, right? So a and b. Now I am passing the two values. So here I am calling this. Okay, this is a calling function. Okay, this is a calling area, right? So here I am calling. So this is a called function, which means this is one call. Okay, when I call this addition, that method is called. So now it returning something. So I need to take that return value, right? So here I will store the return in the result. Okay, so now this is returning something value. So I am storing that in the result. So I will print it out here. I will print it out here, system dot out dot print ln of result, print ln of result. So understand, right? So this is a basic method with return type and name and the parameters. Okay, So I want to perform small task, which is nothing but an addition. So wherever you want to call, again, see, here also I want to call it result integer result equals to stc dot addition of, you can simply give the numbers also. Okay, you can give the numbers also here, 25 comma 65. Okay, so here the result might be 1. Just print it out that also. So here I don't need, so just don't think like, so this is only single line of code. Okay, you have written there and you can also written here. So don't think like that. Think in the bigger way. When you have a lot of function, like a 10 to 15 lines, okay, when you want to repeat that 10 to 15 like same again and again, it will look the code unstructured and clumsy. So why there we use functions. So system.println. Okay, now what I just declared one addition method. I just created one method. So I created the object of this class. To use the methods are present in my class. Okay, so stc, this is my object of the class, and use the say hello. So when I call this, it will print it out. Hello students, enter the two numbers for the addition. Okay, now I use a scanner object to take the input from the user. Okay, and integer a, I have taken two inputs into a and b parameters. Okay, a and b parameters. Now I use the object of this class to call the addition method. Okay, I use the addition. I need to send the parameters, so I have sent the a and b. Okay, a and b, I send the two parameters, and it will returning me the addition of the two numbers. So I store that in the integer result variable. So it is a data type of integer. Now I am printing that result. Okay, without that also I can just directly give the values by calling that method. Okay, 25 and 65, I am printing that one. Okay, now let me save this, and we are getting some error somewhere. 1 second, let me remove this. Okay, there is a, now let me run this program. Java applications. See, it's when I call this function. Okay, when I run this function, it created object, and it called the say hello function. So it printed out hello students and enter the two numbers for the addition. Okay, now let me add 25 and 65. Okay, see the output is 90. Why I given the two numbers? Because the output will be same, 25 and 75. Okay, now it perform the addition, which has a method, okay, inside my class. So just like this, we can create the no parameters, no return type method, and we can create the return and no parameters method also. Okay, there are different types of methods we can create. Okay, like in the case of return, okay, in the case of return and no parameter. Okay, so imagine here we have to return something. Okay, we have to return something, but there are no parameters, which means basically I have to return. So return means, imagine I am returning integer data type, and I want to get one number. Okay, I'm just getting one number. Now here inside this get number, okay, I have to return, right? So I just randomly returning one number, return number. But here see, I'm not using any number. I'm not sending any parameters, but I'm sending only, I'm just returning the value. Imagine here, enter number for addition, and here one number I am taking from the user, and another number I will take it from the class, which is nothing but get number. Okay, I will take that from the this class get number I have to add. So what I have to do, I need to use the object of this class. Okay, I need to use the object of string class. Where is the object of this class? stc. So here stc I am using. Okay, stc I am using dot, okay, dot get number, which means it will return you the number 21, and that number 21 will be stored in the p. Okay, so it returning something, but there is no parameters. But there are no parameters. It returning something, which is number 21. So in that cases, we use returning and no parameters method. It returning something. It is not using parameters. Okay, and it returns something, no parameters, return with parameters, and no return, no parameters, and what else we have? No return and with parameters. Okay, there is no return type. See, imagine here, no return, but you have parameters with parameters. So same like addition. Okay, see here, no return. No return means what? There is no return type, which means void. Okay, void. Print sum. I will print the sum, not I will not return the sum of the two values. I will print the values, which means I will use a system.out println whatever the parameters are sending to this print sum. Where I have entered, man. Sorry. This is a print sum, right? So here I am requiring integer x and integer z. Okay. So here what I will do, I will print it out the sum of the two numbers. I am not returning the output. Here I will do, here I will print it out the sum of the two values, which means sum of uh, x plus b. X plus b. Sorry, x plus z, right? So now it is not returning anything. It is not returning anything, but it is printing. Okay, see, which is no return, but with parameters. When you pass, see here itself, I will call stc dot print sum. Print sum. So here also I just pass the a and b values. Okay, now it will return to store this. See, integer result. Let me store this. So what it's saying, it giving me the error because here the mismatch cannot convert from void to int because it not returning anything. So you don't need to store anything in the result. You don't need to store anything in the result. See, this is a void method and it is not returning anything. It is printing the output of the two numbers. Let's see what is the output of two numbers now. Java application. So here, okay, it asking me the number. It asking me the only number, not the two numbers. Okay, 21 I'm giving here. Enter. So it's giving sum of two numbers, which is nothing but 21 and 21 equals to 42. Okay, see this case, when I use stc.print sum, it printing me sum equals to 42. That is right. Okay, see system.sum equals to 21. First one is done. And next what we are calling addition and it is returning the output. So we are printing that only output as a 42. And here without, we are directly giving the numbers and it's giving the 90. Okay, and here the get number is nothing but it's getting the number which they are resulting with. There is return, but there is no parameters. So these are the different types of methods and different types of methods we can create in the Java. And this is how we have to call the method. By creating the object of that class, we can access the methods of that particular class. Okay. So till now, if you have any doubts, you can ask me or else take the 2 minutes of the break and we will start the JSP. Okay, guys, let's discuss about the JSP. Now, yesterday I think we discussed about the JDBC UI and how we can connect with the Java programs with the database. Okay, today we will do the connection between our project and our database. To require to connect the database with our projects, okay, first we need to install and download the MySQL. Okay, first we need to install the MySQL in our project and also install the SQL community. So this is a SQL community. So you need to install MySQL and SQL community both. Okay, so these are the key requirements before connecting your project with the MySQL. Okay, so I have already in my system, so MySQL server and SQL community. So let's try to connect with the database and we will see how the connection is establishing and how can we perform the operations with the local database. Okay, so now so this is my application. Imagine that my first JSP project is my application. So to before connecting, okay, before connecting to the database, what I need one database to create to store my all the data of my first project JSP project in my application, right? So let me go here and create one database here. Okay, let me create the database here. Okay, so new query editor. To create the database, we need to have some logic of the SQL. Okay, so like a queries we use here. By queries also we can create, or by user interfaces also you can create a database. So here let me give my first JSP project. Okay, just imagine I'm just giving my first JSP project and create. Okay, this is my database. Okay, inside the database our data, okay, whatever the data is there, it has been stored in the tabular columns. Okay, in the tables only. So to store the admin information or to store the customer information, to store the product informations, we need to create the table. We need to create the table inside this database. Inside this my first JSP project database, we need to create the tables, and inside the tables the data will be stored in the rows and columns. The data will be stored in the rows and columns. So when you are going with the SQL classes, you better to know how the SQL tables and database has to be created. Okay, but now let me go through the okay high level phase. Now I create the database. Okay, now go to our Eclipse. Now this is our Eclipse. Now JSP is for the web pages, and but data must be stored in the database itself. So for that reason, the JDBC allows JSP to talk the databases to talk with the databases. So without JDBC, JSP cannot store data or cannot retrieve the dynamic data. So that is an important point. And the JDBCs, we have a different drivers like type 1 JDBC ODBC driver. So that is an outdated one. So native API driver, network protocol driver, and a pure Java driver also. We have a Java driver which are mostly commonly used. So which is nothing but MySQL connector. We call it as a MySQL connector Java. So inside our JSP project, inside the web INF, inside library we have, right? So in that library, we have to import, okay, we have to import that jar file. Okay, we have to import that jar file. So I think I have the jar file. One second. Java softwares, jar files. See, it has MySQL Java 8.0.2. Okay, you can use this one. This, let me do this. So this is a jar file. First we need to import that jar file in the library. So this is a first and foremost step. Okay, so paste it. So this is my jar file, MySQL connector J9. Okay, that is a version. Okay, so it's a version type. So first we are done with that file. Now, so wherever you want to connect with your database and create, let me create one file as a connect. I am creating one file as a connect. Okay, I am created one file. Now I have imported jar file also. So before that, okay, before this thing, first we need to import the SQL package. We need to import the package. So in the directive tag, we can import by using import keyword, which is nothing but attribute. And here you have to import java.sql dot everything. So first we need to import the SQL library, import our package, which is nothing but a SQL package. Now we can load the driver. Next, what we need to do, we need to load the driver. So to load the driver, okay, to load and write every JDBC thing, which is nothing but a Java itself, which is nothing but Java itself. To write everything, we have to use a scriptlet tags. We have to use a scriptlet tags. So here, so 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. So where we are? Yeah. Now here, first what we need to do, we need to load the driver. Okay. Exactly in the yesterday class, I said the methods, right? So where is that? See here, the driver manager. Okay, connection. We need to connect the connection. So these are the steps. So now what we need to do, we need to load the driver, which is used for the JDBC. So here we need to load the driver by using class. Okay, class dot for name. Okay, for name, and you need to give that driver, okay, by using com.mysql cj dot jdbc dot driver. So this is the step where we have to load the driver. This is, we are loading the driver. Okay, this is constant line of code. So whenever you want to connect with the database, this line is important. And among this line, we have connection. Okay, connection one, connection con equals to, we have a driver manager. Okay, driver manager dot get connection, dot get connection. So now in this get connection, we need to pass the URL. We need to pass the URL. So that URL syntax lies like this: JDBC, okay, hyphen MySQL hyphen not, it's a semicolon, it's a colon. MySQL colon slash slash local host. Okay, local host is nothing but your system. Okay, local host and the port number. So when you are installing your MySQL, okay, in your system, there you will get that port number 3306. And here you need to give your database name. So what is my database name here? I have created the database name as my first JSP project. So here you need to give your database my first JSP project. Okay. And after that link, you need to pass out your credentials for your SQL. Okay, which means when you are installing your SQL, there you will give the username. Okay, username and the password. Okay, so this is my username and the password. So I'm just giving root. Okay, now this is how we will connect with the database. Okay, this is how we'll connect with the database. This is a connection between my Java program and my database. Now I connected with my database. Now what I will do? I will do whether my connection is out dot print ln of, I will say as is database database connected successfully. Okay, database connected successfully. I'm just printing as a database connected successfully. Now let me, what I will do in my welcome page. Okay, let me do one thing then. Whatever the code I have written in my connect, let me import that code, or let me include that code here. Okay, let me include my connect page, so that here in wherever I need that connection between my database, okay, so there I can use that connect file. So which means code reusability. In every page, I don't need to write that. I don't need to write the connection to the database. Okay, I have written that connection in one file, and I'm using that connection file in every file to connect with my database. So here connect.jsp. Now let me run this program. Whether it's connecting with my program to database or not, we will see. Oh, sorry, one second. Before running, let me change servers. Let me stop my server. Okay, now go to our program and run this. Okay, see, the database was connected successfully. Okay, it's showing the output as the database was connected successfully. So this is how we have to use the JDBC connection. So when in every page, okay, not only in this page, so wherever you go, okay, in from welcome page, let me go to the register page, okay, which is nothing but page 2. So here we have page 2. Okay, in the so something okay, in the page 2 we are giving name and email, and we are going to this welcome page again, so don't worry about that. Let me give here also, I am including my connection file, so to connect with my database. Okay, to connect with my database, and go to the page number 2 also. What is the page number 2 we have given in the welcome page, which is register, right? So just click on the register, and see here also our database is connected successfully. Okay, so wherever you have a connection, wherever there is a need of a database connection in your program, you can connect your database by using the two lines of a code, which is nothing but loading the driver and connecting with the database. Okay, these are the two lines which are used to connect with the database. These are the two lines which are used to connect with the database, and this code you can use anywhere by including your that connecting file. Okay, and by using this connect object, okay, you can interact with that database. So this is about the today's class. In the tomorrow's class, what we will do, we will create one register form. Okay, we'll create one register form, and we'll take the input from the user, and when he submit the data, okay, when he submit the data, we will submit that data into the database. Okay, we'll create the table inside that, and we'll perform that things. Okay, so that's the today's class, guys. So if you have any doubts regarding anything, you can ask me, or if not, that's at today's class. And from tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I think holidays for Dasra. So you can enjoy your holidays. And after that, Friday, we'll start the class. Okay. So thank you. Thank you, guys.